So hi, welcome to my latest video. Well, this one is going to be sort of a part 2, or it could be considered a follow-up to my Bambu Labs 3D printer that I got about just over 3 weeks ago. And I've been playing with it ever since, learning all new techniques. It's the first time I've ever used a 3D printer. It was a big learning curve, and I've got a lot more to go. I've learned so many important things that I was looking to learn, which is great. But going forward, I want to do something that's more advanced. I like the idea of building my own things that I need to help me with this channel, primarily in some of the builds of some of the computer systems that I've been doing, maybe upgrades to those systems. For example, one of the things I built and I designed on my own, I mentioned in that last video I did about upgrading my daughter's computer. And when I put the 3060 Ti graphics card in there, it was a big sag. Unfortunately, I don't have it with me. It's at her house now. I created my own little sag preventer, a little step to hold up the end of the GPU. Also, I put a magnet on it. And so that's another technique that I learned. At the end of this video, I'm going to put pictures from Bambu Studio of a lot of the things that I actually built that I found useful. I've also gone ahead and moved and purchased new things. For example, up here on the wall, we can actually see some storage bins that I've created, including right next to it, to the right, a dryer. And that dryer, if I were to have one of these filament rolls, if it had been left out too long and it got damp, then that's a dryer. Now, the main cabinet also has drying capability too, but not anywhere near as extensive as that. I went ahead and actually printed up little devices that can hold that loose desiccant, the silica crystals. And I have a couple of them in there. And you'll see a picture of it at the end of this video. So they're in there to keep those rolls dry. Also, I've gone ahead and expanded in terms of other things that I purchased. For example, I wanted to be able to do inset screws. Well, that's what these are. These are little inset screws that you can use to actually put in a screw and attach it so that you could attach two pieces together, or you want to go ahead and attach something to it or attach it to something else. Well, this comes in very handy for that. And I got all different sizes in this kit that I purchased. In addition to that, I purchased the screws that match, metric type screws. So I got everything from like M3 to M7 in terms of insets, and the same thing for the screws that I purchased. Now this happens to have screws, nuts, and washers, but sometimes I may need that. But it's primarily for the screws that I did it, and it was a low price. So again, that'll be links down in the bottom of this video. Also, I bought this little presser for the inlets. So you can actually take it and push the inlets down in place with this soldering iron that has special tips to it that's meant for those insets. You put your project down on this, you put the inset in, which by the way, you have to design into your project of the right size so you can get the inset at least started in there, and also have a hole where it has lining to it within the project. Otherwise, you'll be hitting some of the empty spots, some of the voids that is automatically created with filler. And once you have that down in there and it's hot and has a temperature control on it here, right here, the soldering iron they chose has, you can change the temperature, has a little LCD display. You can then take it, put your project down here and just press down and it pushes it in. Of course, not in the air like this. That's something I also got. And part of that is one of the things that I built that I found that I needed. This little box here, which is connected with one screw, well, they gave us an extra little slider, for this ramp here. That is, I believe it was an M6 or M7, I forget exactly what it was. And I put it M6 or M7 inset here at one end, took a screw long enough out of that kit that I just showed you, and went all the way in and connected it to the little nut inset that can go into this rail. And this has all of the tools that I might need. The Allen wrenches, the open end wrench, things like that are all in there and handy. I won't lose them. Okay, so that's something I did to enhance that product. Now, if you look here, this is my pièce de résistance. This is the actual symbol for my channel. I'm sure you've seen it before. If you watch my videos, you'll actually see it over here, right, as well. I designed it way back when, my first year of having this channel. And this is all one piece. And it's not glued, and it's not inset screwed together in any way. It was done in one print with 3 different colors, as you can see: red, white, black. Now, the problem with that, I had to have it lie down in the bed for the 3D printer. That's how it built it up. It built it up from the bed, up from this end, going up. Well, because I have a patterned mat on the bed, that pattern sticks to this. And that's also where it puts some supports. When you do 3D printing that is going to be raised in any angle, it's going to automatically put support. You can adjust all of that, but I had to get that all off, and it was very, very rough. It's still rough, but nowhere near as it was. I had to go get my Dremel and take it and smooth this out a little bit in order to get all that out, but it turned out in the end pretty good. The only thing I regret is I didn't put magnets on this, inside of this. I was not too comfortable, maybe I will going forward, on doing vertical magnets. And the fact that I had it lying down like this, it would meant the magnets, the ones that I have that are a little disc, would have to go in this way. It's a whole process to itself. But I plan on making more videos. Let me put this here for now, on some of the techniques that I learned, magnets, insets, all sorts of tricks, how to get certain things raised off the bed. For example, on that particular one, this horizontal bar, the bottom part of the 4, that had to be raised off the bed. At first, I thought you couldn't do it with Bambu Studio, but you can. And I was able to get that to work, and as you can see, it worked out pretty good. So in part 2 of this video, I'm going to now go ahead and show you how I take a pre-built little boat. And it's a boat that's to match that little mechanical driven motor that came with the printer from Bambu Studios. I wanted to put that to use. There's a lot of choices of boats that are out there on the web with Bambu Studios that little motor will work with. Now that's black, that motor, and I found one that looks exactly like the one that's in the picture on the box, but in color. So the one that's online, I'm going to take it and I'm going to play with the colors. I want to, redefine some of the colors, make it look more realistic than just a toy, and then we're going to build it. It's going to take more than one build, though. I'm not going to do the build like I did with my emblem. Oh, one thing I've left out was this is the waste product from that emblem, and it's like 95% the weight of the emblem itself. I'm not kidding. Every time it has to change colors, and depends on the orientation of the project, it has to switch from one color to the next, and it creates these little twisted things that some people online, they refer to them as 3D printer poops, because they get ejected out the back. And for example, this particular one, it's when it switched from red to white. I'm holding it upside down. Wherever it has the long part is usually where it's at. So every time it switches colors, and sometimes that's like every single layer it switches colors, it discharges one of those. In addition, it has like a thing that looks like a little building, this little thing here, and that's solid. And that's where the filament head on the 3D printer has to go and make sure that it's changed color. So it puts a layer down and it checks it. It has a camera inside and it looks at it and it sees that whether or not the color is changed or not. And that's to prevent bleeding that might still occur. Now, it still can happen. I had some of that on that device that I was able to get off with the Dremel because it was just mostly, cosmetic at the surface. But it's something that can happen depending on the settings that you use on your 3D printer. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and take this little boat, the one that I picked, and I'm going to show you exactly in Bambu Studio how to build it. And then I'm going to print it out and show it to you at the end, and you'll see how it works. Okay? Here we are in Bambu Studios. It defaults to this Home tab here on the left. As you can see, the boat that I'm interested in, I recently opened. But I'm not going to look at the one I opened because I probably modified it. So I'm going to go down to Online Models, and these boats are identified as 010, and there's many to choose from. And it's the boat kit. So this shows all the different ones we can get. As you see, there's a lot of different ones you can get that use that motor that came with the Bambu Studio printer. I'm going to go with the one that I said before, which is a standard one. So if we go into there, it opens up. The owner of this, the one who uploaded it, was Van Dragen under Day. So in Europe, obviously, you should give credit whenever you use somebody's models. Now I want it just for the X1. So that's a print profile that I want. So I'm going to print across the top here, X1. And I'm going to say download and open. Now it went on to 4 plates. You should always double check though whether or not it put X1 on it. And it did, the Bambu Labs X1, but I want the X1 carbon. So let me go down to the X1 carbon with a 0.4. That's actually the one. So I'm here in the left-hand menu, I'll click on that. Now it has 5 filaments selected, but I'm looking at the printer right now, it doesn't have 5 in it. It's only got 4. So I'm going to click on this little button here that says synchronize the filament list from the AMS. Double check, do I want to do that? And there we are. Now it automatically changed the colors. This is what happens when the different slots have different colors in them. By doing that synchronization, we wound up with different colors being slotted. And what I want to do is change some of the colors on the individual pieces. Now, as you can see, there are 4 plates. If you look here on the left, under plates, plate 1, 2, 3, and then you have to scroll down to see plate words. We can tell which one I pick by clicking on the color. So if I want to look at what's in plate 1, I will see this. I will click on this, and it highlights that top of the boat. Just in case you're not sure, let me zoom this around and see that it's the top of the boat. Right now it's white. There's a second thing here that's also white. Click on that, but I don't see exactly where that's at. It's not showing it. Oh, by the way, it looks like it does have tabs in it, so I won't have to glue it necessarily. So they have designed it so that it has these little tabs. There should be a matching hole in the part that's going to go in there. So that's up here. Make that the active plate. And let's go to the bottom of that. And sure enough, if you look very carefully, there's a little hole there in the bottom. So that's going to click right into place on the other one. That's good to know. I'm using the mouse for all of these interactions. I right click to move the objects around of the active plate. The black one is the active plate. If I click on a plate with my left mouse button, it makes that one, so I can move that one down with the right button. And I can use the left button to rotate it any way that I want. Okay, so that's good to know. Plate 1, that's the entire thing. What's plate 2? It looks like plate 2 is on the bottom here. That second thing. The second white thing is in the bottom somewhere. It looks like there might be a little slice in here somewhere. That might be it. So I want to change these colors. Let's go ahead and change the top of the boat to a brown. Okay, what the heck. So if I right click on the little number, it highlights there, then I come down to change filament, and I'll pick my number 4, which is brown. Now it says we have red and white. Let me pick, where's this white at? This white looks like it's a little piece in the back of the boat here, in the back. Let me see if I can change that one to brown as well. And it did. Now we only have 2 colors in the block here, which is used to clean the nozzle when it's changing colors. It has a red and it has a brown, very close colors here. I'm going to change the red to a black. So that's the bottom part here. Let me go back to the same thing. I see 2 reds here. Let me right click on the first one. That is part of the bottom, right? Yeah. And I'm going to change that to black. And there's another piece. They got 2 separate pieces, so we can do multiple colors on the bottom if we wanted to. So we can have black, and we can do the back part brown if we wanted to, but I'm going to go ahead and make it all black. So I'm going to click on this one here, and I'm going to make that black. Personal preference, obviously. Now we only have 2 colors. That's what I wanted for the base of the boat. That's the keel of the boat, right? Okay. Now let me go ahead and change plates here. I'm going to go over here to the steering wheel. The steering wheel, right now it's black. This is plate number 4. If I flip it around, you'll see what I mean. That's plate number 4. Zoom in. I don't want black for the steering wheel. Let's make that brown as well. So where it has black for the steering wheel, down in plate 4, the only color that's there, I'm going to change that to brown. Okay. Now what else do I want? I want some nicer colors here at the top. I'm going to make that the active plate. Zoom it to center, zoom in. Let's do it this way. So for this one, I want to actually make the top black. So this is plate number 2, right? Plate 2. So I want the top black, and I want the bottom white, rather than brown and black like it has now. Let's make the top, click on that. This is plate 2, so that's over here. Let's change the bottom first. Bottom, we're going to go into filament and change that to white, okay? Changing that to white. And I'm going to change this thing, whatever that is. That's some piece I can't see right now. Must be part of this somewhere. I'm going to change that to white as well. Well, they're both white, but it didn't change this at all. I don't know why we still have the black part here. We'll find out. And then I want to make the top black. I don't want it brown anymore. So I click the top. I'm clicking on only these filament colors over here, so I can change. That's the only thing I want to change. And I'm going to make that black. Oh, good. So now we only have black and white, which is exactly what I was hoping for. Okay, so now I have that. I have the keel, I have the boathouse, the steerage, I have the steering wheel, and the steering wheel looks like it fits right into that hole over there. If you zoom in to this one here, it looks like there's a hole right there where the steering wheel can plug in, right over here. And the steering wheel itself, so I won't need to glue this. I can just click them together. If we look closely at this, it has a click-in part here that's been molded into it, that little notched part there. And the last thing I want is this one. I'm going to make this plate the active one. That's with the life preserver. Now this one, I'm going to want some red and white. So I'm going to want the preserver itself, the main body of it, the circle part, I'm going to want that to be white. But I want these lever things to be red, okay? The hold downs. So I'm going to click on that and I'm going to change that to red. This is going to be one of the more complicated ones to build, believe it or not. I don't want to stand this on the edge, which is one of the techniques you can use. And the reason I don't want to do that is it's going to cause probably not that much less. It'll cause this brick to go way up in terms of size, that's for sure. We'll probably have the same number of filament changes. And I'll show you what I mean. Right now we have this one highlighted. We have the colors the way I want. Better to have the colors go from bottom up, or only one color altogether. So in terms of these, this one's bottom up, this one's bottom up. This one, though, is not bottom up. You really can't get it bottom up completely, no matter what you do, no matter which way you orient this, unless you change it all to one color and painted it later, which I'm not going to do. I want to have it do that color. You'll see, though, the next step to every one of these things is to what we call slice it, one plate at a time. So slice the plate, slice. So now I've sliced this plate. If you want to see the slices, that's you drag over here on the right-hand side. You can drag down and see the slices as they occur. See how it gets off? But look what we're doing. Every slice has both white and red in it. That's why it's going to be a lot of changes. And as a result of that, if you come over here, it says filament changes total for this bill, for this print, is 26 of them. So there can be 26 of those little poops that'll come out as a result of just creating this. And it's going to take 1 hour and 6 minutes. So I won't print that one yet. Let me see let me pick an easy one. Let's look at this one. How long is this going to take if I slice it? That's going to take 10 minutes and 57 seconds. It only changes the filament once from whatever it was to brown. So it may not even do that. It's already brown, which it might be. I think I might have used it brown last time. So just to do the steering wheel is a pretty easy job. Okay, let's print something. I'm going to print the steering wheel, the simplest one to print. I will be showing videos that were generated by the printer itself for all of the other parts at the end of this. So let me start by showing you what happens when you initiate a print. And we'll start with this one. So if you come in here, I've already done the slice. And now I want to do the print plate. Well, it gives you some choices here. It identifies the printer as it knows it. It has the color that it's going to give. Now, if you had the wrong color here, you could actually change it. But I happen to have that color loaded. So we can get out of that. I do want to add time lapse so you can all see what it looks like once it's done. And pretty much that's it. There's no warnings, nothing on the screen here in the lower right hand corner. It's all green. Configuration can update now. Let's go ahead and say send, and we'll see how long it takes. I'll try to go ahead and speed through it, and you'll see my time lapse, and then you'll see the one that is produced by the printer itself. Here we go. It takes a couple of minutes to actually get all the information over to the printer, and then it opens up the window here. There's a lot of information on this screen. You can see the actual filaments being used. You'll see it getting loaded down through here. Right now, none of them are being fed into the extruder at this point, so it's not printing yet. If you look down in here in the bottom toward the left here, it says that the heat bed is preheating. It's going to take 10 more minutes. That's what's over here to the right. And then this shows the progress. So you'll see this all change as it progresses along, and then we'll see what it looks like at the end. Let me speed ahead at this point. Okay, I finally have everything ready, all the pieces I need to build this boat. As you may recall, this came with Bambu printer. Let me open it up again. So you got this little engine here, and it's supposed to be able to clip, I think, on the back of the boat. Yeah, there it goes. It does clip. But before I put that on, all the ones that I 3D printed, let me tell you some of the issues I ran into. First of all, I had to change from black to blue. I ran out of black in the middle of it, and when I tried to switch over to my backup black filament roll, that failed too. My replacement filament roll had some kind of issues, mainly caused by the spool that I had created earlier. It was really too thin to support that. So now I have a messed up spool and a messed up brand new 1 kilogram roll of filament that I have to fix or trash. I'm not sure yet. Okay, and we'll try to gently pull this stuff out. Okay. Yeah, up in the front here. There we go. It's a big piece there. Look at that. It's all waste. I had it set for the standard supports. I've never tried that one before. Out, and now this fits perfectly right on top of that. So I'll start by actually using the glue on that. I have here some super glue, and I'll put super glue on this piece here. And we'll put this right here on top. And hopefully that'll stay. There we go. Okay, a little bit of super glue does it. Now I'll get the steering wheel on. Well, you have to use super glue for that too. Let me try it. Squeeze it up inside of here like this. See, does it stay if I put it in here? Oh, it snapped in, and it turns. Good. Okay, got that. Now I got to connect these two main parts together. There is a catch here. Let me see, will it stay? Yeah, it did. It snapped right in. So the only thing I really need super glue on was to put the life preserver on. And then the engine should go right in here. There we go. Put it on top of the box and see what we get. They do have a stand for this that I didn't print. I can wind it up. So if I wind it up, what do I get? There it goes. So it probably would work in water. Hopefully it's buoyant, not like the little version of it that I tried to use. So that completes this little boat that looks pretty nifty. That takes care of this video, and I thank you for watching. I'll do future things in the future showing how to do things like magnets and other implants and screw brass receivers and things like that. Take care.